Well, hello guys. We've got Bob of all trades here. Let me turn the volume down. Stupid music. So, yeah, welcome, Bob. We've missed you. Where have you been the past 2 months?
I appreciate the invite, Stephen. This is great. And, oh my gosh, I don't think I've posted a review since April, maybe. So, yeah, big changes. Moved the family 600 miles to eastern Pennsylvania, and now I work for Eluktronics. My studio at that building just got carpet installed a couple of days ago, so content production has not begun, but hopefully we can start creating content maybe once a month moving forward. We'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. So it's a lot of growing pains right now, but it's all good.
We've definitely missed you. And you might notice at the bottom of the screen I got a telephone number, the 856-477-1362. Of course, it's a US number. Feel free to dial it, and you'll be live on the stream. You can talk to Bob and me straight off, and that'd be great. So, you brought us a few things here, haven't you, Bob? Let me change the camera view. The desk is full of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So you just want to get right to this then, Stephen? This is fun. So, our liquid propulsion package. This is the first generation model of it. Can you get this? Okay. So this thing, like the size of my hand. You know, this is huge. This is not the final production. But I wanted to bring this in to share with you guys to give you some perspective as to how many different versions actually occur before the real one goes into the customer's hands. And this thing it's like the size of a basketball. It is enormous. The Mech G3 that it will attach to just has this crazy welded bracketry here. And it is obnoxious. I don't even want to take this apart and show you what the inside of this looks like because it's so embarrassing. But honestly, when we first were testing this, I was rolling my eyes because I'm like, there's no way this is going to work. And even this janky pile of hot-looking garbage here still cooled at 20 degrees better.
That's amazing, isn't it?
And yeah, so anything that you guys have seen through other manufacturers, that's not even the final product, but this one here is as raw as they come. I mean, plastic hoses look at this. It is crazy. The copper piping in here is actually bent through transit. I mean, it is.
You can even show them to that camera, mate.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like a suitcase handle, right? It's crazy. It is just.
Yeah. So
phase one. Phase one.
So,
eh?
Wow.
You would never see this otherwise, but I had to bring it in today because I don't know. It's silly, but I wanted you guys to see what different transitions we would go through.
Now, is this the final?
Oh no! This is generation
phase
one. This is you would never see this again, other than what you're seeing here today.
Because am I right in thinking that it's supposed to be fairly portable? You could take
it's
away
half
with
this size. The finished version it looks nicer. It's half this size. It is a much better quality product. But this was something that we just kind of threw together to see if it worked.
You need to put beer in here, and then you can drink it.
It's vodka.
It's vodka.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Have we got any questions for Bob here? Nope, none so far. But it's exciting. I think this water cooling. It's going to be pretty game changing, can't it? Certainly because the more power you mentioned, certainly in new hardware.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how we have to play this game, but with Intel, AMD, and Nvidia keep wanting to pump high wattage, then we kind of have to fight fire with water. And this is kind of where we're at on this now, which kind of grants us the ability to put a lot more wattage through these devices than we normally would. Speaking of wattage, everybody's pretty familiar with the 230 watt power supply units. I believe the 3070 Ti is going to have a nice little bump here to 280 watts. And then the 3080 and 3080 Ti will get a 330 watt brick.
And that's still fairly small, really.
It is when you compare it, Stephen, to an extra 100 watts. That's big, right? But you've seen 330 watt Clevo type solutions that are 50% bigger than that, right? I figured you were going to pull one out.
Yeah, I got one here, but it's handling the stream.
But that's probably a good 20 or 30% bigger than this one. So still 330 watts, which is pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome, isn't it, really?
Yeah. And then as far as wattage that we can actually pump through these things, all right, so the chip itself can handle it, but the supporting componentry around the PCB is where things start to become quite a bit different. So if you picture like a desktop graphics card and the PCB is quite large, that's very necessary in order to sustain that kind of wattage and voltage. And there's only so much room we have inside of laptops. So while we do in-house explore other wattage solutions for video BIOS and things like that, just because we can doesn't mean we should. So we do want these components to last a long time, and this thermal solution does a good job at that. But there's a reason why. I mean, if you think about like a desktop graphics card, the PCB there is like the size of the whole entire motherboard PCB on a laptop. So, yeah. And for comparison purposes, this, Stephen, we can see this, right? All right,
yeah,
great.
You see that, yeah.
This is the 11th gen Intel, Prometheus 17. And I wanted to show you what the cooling solution looks like on the new model that does support the liquid propulsion. So it's kind of a big difference here. I mean, if you figure in the cooling pipe that runs all the way across this, and then this mammoth part here that does go over a lot of the components for the graphics card, because again, we are running a higher wattage than we had ever run before, it's pretty significant. The fans, there's more blades, it's a little bit thicker, just it's a little bit beefier. So I bring this to your attention because you won't necessarily need the liquid cooling solution. It should provide better cooling performance than the previous generation, and then if you were to enhance it with, the liquid propulsion package, it's going to be a nasty little bastard.
What would be the Max PL1 you've got on your...
It's still kind of up in the air. Yeah, it's still some testing, and those are some things that we can.
So now you like to push it to the limit.
Sustained wattage though for the CPU is way higher than anything we've ever seen before, which is really kind of fun for me. So
it is, isn't it?
And it doesn't have to be loud anymore either, which is really nice. Yeah. It's kind of a neat little miracle, and it's very strange that this is where we're at on this now. But it's a pretty elegant solution, of course. Not so much this one, but the final product does look very nice.
But yeah, once you got it all dialed in, I think it'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. And you got 3 laptops, I think, that's going to have the water cooling.
That's right. Yeah, the Mech 15 and then the Prometheus 17. Those would be available obviously sometime early spring. And then we have a Mech 17 coming probably in the summertime. That one's pretty special. I can't say much about it other than it's going to be awesome, and it's taking this long because there's some things that are happening to it. That's, I don't know. It should be our best thermal product yet. So
hey, we got Martin from Prima Mod here.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
How you doing, man?
Too much is not enough. Of course, he would say that. That Martin, that should be your shirt that you wear around proudly.
I know, right? Now, yeah, so as I said, feel free to dial that number at the bottom, and you can talk directly to Bob live on the stream. It's always good to pick his brains.
So fan noise is my kryptonite, and that's honestly like, so, I do the whole laptop life thing. I always edit on laptops, but it would be nice to have something not as obnoxiously loud, and having this liquid propulsion package definitely fixes that for me. So we go from like 55 decibels to, let's say, 42 or less, and you've essentially reduced the fan noise by more than half, and that's pretty great. Now,
on the subject of traveling,
right?
If you're by plane, for instance, not only got the weight, I don't know what the weight is, but also liquids.
It is easy enough to drain, but I mean, honestly, like if you're traveling and you're just going to be gone for a weekend or a week, do you really need to bring this with you?
Nah, probably not.
I mean, just take the laptop. It's still going to perform very, very good without it, better than anything else that we've had previously. It's just, this enhances those that want to benchmark or just wring every last drop, I guess pun intended here with the liquid, they can. But I think people are really going to appreciate the fan acoustics and that kind of lifestyle at the at-home office, even more so than just what it can gain from performance-wise.
And you use distilled water
Yeah, that's, I think, is going to be the best solution. Of course, you can go out there and get all the fancy liquid, but did you guys see Dave 2D's review on this? I mean, he has a good point. I mean, just get yourself some distilled water, and this isn't one of these things like a desktop where you fill it with fancy liquid and you leave it be. Something like this, should you wish to take it with you, who's to say you can't? It's yours. You're going to drain, fill, just get some distilled water. That's what we use in the shop. So,
question, what's your daily driver?
Right now, it's the Mag 15. It has been since August 9th. The Mag 15, the second generation one. And that has quad HD display and a 3060, 32 gigs of RAM, 11800H. I have beat the living crap out of that thing, and it's going strong. And I have used everything that we have, but that's my daily driver. Does that mean that's my favorite laptop? Because I'm sure we'll probably get that in the comment section. No. The owner of the company was like, oh, here, just use this for your laptop. And that's what I've been using, and I like it. So it's really that simple.
Yeah. Now, Electronics also sells other brands of laptops, don't you? You sell some HP stuff?
Yeah, we just have a good business relationship with them, and we do kind of like some of the products that they have. So a couple of Odms. We don't have a ton of them, but it's just something that we do have, and it's fun. I've had a very good relationship with HP personally. So,
and also check out their website, because Bob spent a lot of time putting, I think, with second-hand laptops or overstock stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Discount. So definitely check that out.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Especially on our website, we will have a lot of 20 series units that are selling for ridiculously cheap. And then, of course, on Amazon, I have a lot of things listed there as well. So.
Oh, right, yeah. And what would you, but the liquid metal stuff, how much, you got any pricing?
I don't.
Moment? Nothing
Actually, I do not have any pricing, but I've posted some things in the community tab, and people are like, oh, I want to wait for the next gen stuff, and that's great. We appreciate that, and I'm certain that all the other manufacturers do as well. But I got to understand, like, DDR5 is twice as much as DDR4, and as a result, yes, it's amazing. It does perform very good, but expect to see prices to reflect that. I mean, it's this next-gen stuff is more next-gen than anything we've seen for a while, so I legitimately do not know how much this stuff is going to cost, and we will have to see what it's going to cost us once we put everything together. But we're running very fast hard drives in these things, like 7,000 read speed. It's the owner of the company doesn't really spare any expenses. Like, he puts the best stuff in here that he can get.
Yeah. Question, someone's got to uninstall the Predator Sense software in your Helios 300 like you did, but you can't install it again. Perhaps they'll try in safe mode. Install it then.
I am so out of touch with anything that is not
Probably what I would try.
Stuff. Yeah.
Try safe mode and do it.
Yeah.
What games do we play? Well, interestingly, I mean, I'll do a video in my studio here in my basement. This is a man cave, and I installed a racing rig. And Bob's just been playing Project Cars. It's pretty.
Did not. It was fun.
It was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was. I'm gonna have to make it harder. He used the technique of crashing into cars and knocking them off the track.
I got to convince the boss to get a couple of these set up in the shop. So.
Oh, you're gonna have to.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So I've been doing that, and I bought a virtual pinball. So I've been playing some pinball machines. But let's see, what other questions? Did the previous ASUS attempt? The previous ASUS liquid cooling thing, that was a huge monstrosity, wasn't it?
Oh, it was obnoxious. It was bigger than the laptop itself. The final version of this you could probably fit in a big coat pocket. Who am I to question what people are going to do with these things? Honestly, I am probably more intrigued about that than anything, because I know how I will be using this setup for myself. I'll probably have two, one at my house and one at the office in my studio. And it will always stay there, and then the laptop will just come home with me like it does every night, and I'll use it at home. I'll play with you know what I mean? But as far as the in-between stuff, I'll just use it without. It'll be really neat to see what people do when they take it with them. What's the durability going to be like? Because that's something we personally can only road test so much.
Yeah.
And thousands of you out there are going to have this versus one or two of us. And so it'll be really neat to see what that looks like 6 months down the road.
I definitely think it's so cool. It's people just joining in there. This is the quick connect system here for the radiator You know, you just connect it and got separate heat pipe joining here, joining the CPU and the GPU, and it's good, isn't it?
It's a pretty clean solution.
It's a clean solution, yeah. Now, will Electronics be doing any 13-inch laptops or?
Not 13. We are exploring other sizes that have been known to be pretty popular, but we'll see. I mean, some of these were around the office when I got there in August, and some of them are still there now. What it comes down to it's what we can produce and what things cost, and then what we have to sell. If it's really not justified, if we would have to sell you a 14-inch laptop at an obnoxious price, why would we do that? It's just not worth doing it. So we try to stay within our means to what we feel like is going to be the best bang for the buck for the customer.
Someone's just mentioned an old video we did there, Micro Center collab. Remember we did that?
Yeah, yes. Gosh, that was
a long time ago.
A couple of years ago.
We should do that again. Yeah, go around, pick out what the best values ones
I haven't
were.
been into a Micro Center in a year.
Have you not?
I would actually enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, I love hanging out there.
Yeah.
It's even Best Buy. But Micro Center, at least I know what they're talking about there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will the new Mech 17 have a larger battery than it did on the older one?
I don't know yet. I do not know. I'll find out. In fact, if that's a question that I can answer, I'll be sure to respond at the bottom in the comment section once I get the details on that.
Thanks, Peacekeeper. As he was asking the question here, are you open for any remote positions like tech support? So that, tech support, IT work?
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, it's something I can talk to the boss about. In fact, he's responding right now. Electronics, he responded to Prima, so.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, so that's Will there. Eh?
So, Will, if that's something you're interested in, just, we can talk about it.
Yeah, just, Pups, just send him in your CV or resume, I guess. Probably the best thing, isn't it? I'm glad that Will's here.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, Will, you should call in. You did that last time, remember? On the phone number at the bottom. I'm sure people would like to ask you questions too.
Or you could tell them stories about all the dumb things I've done at work.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Of course, you all got hit by COVID.
Oh, that was a good time.
Quite badly, yeah.
Yeah, right around the holidays, too. So, yeah, we were getting a lot of heat, rightfully so, from customers that bought laptops, and they're like, where's my device? What's going on? We had a full week where our laptop production was run by 2 people.
It's incredible.
Yeah, so kudos to those guys because they really worked their butt off, and we finally got caught up. But that was rough.
Yeah, and Bob was telling me that they don't just pull a box, ship it. They open it up, they test it before they ship it out.
So they have to be imaged, keyed, tested, every key, webcam, everything. And, every once in a while we'll get one that just maybe doesn't power on, let's say 1 out of 500, and then, we'll go ahead and get that taken care of. But there's no pull and ships. Every single thing gets, and if you look closely at our boxes, they'll have 2 pieces of tape on them. It's because we cut open the first one, we pull it out, we have to build it to spec. It takes a long time. I mean, it's not a pull and ship, so a tech on their best day might be able to get 20 of them done, and you got to be very careful with that, because if they're doing 20 Monday, 20 Tuesday, 20 Wednesday, by the time Thursday comes around, they're going to start making mistakes. So you have to be very conscious of what's happening along the production line to make sure that your guys that are building these things are doing other things so they do not make errors. And that's just one of the many things that I've been trying to work with at Electronics, just to kind of increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the product. But it is really cool that every single thing does get hands laid on.
No, it's good. It's a good peace of mind. Yeah. Now, someone was asking, do we think the MXM graphics card will come back like in my good old Clevo here?
No.
That's what you're dead duck, isn't it?
I have always loved laptops like that.
Oh,
we got somebody calling.
Will's calling.
Oh, you were mean.
From
Will.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Don't accept it.
Don't accept it.
What's going on, man?
Long-time fan.
Yeah, how are you doing, man? You're on the stream like last time when you weren't sitting here when we did that job last time, but you're still on the phone. Yeah. So how's it going?
Not too bad. This is great to see you guys together.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you've done a good job with him. Yeah, we knew a lot before. Now he's like formidable. He's
talking about some of the shenanigans that's been going on at work all the time. I try to scare Bob when he comes around the corner. I'm there to try to scare him.
Or what about when we were in your car and you kept cooking me in your seat and I thought it was my phone that was messing with your sensors? Yeah. They torture me over there, man.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Before he set traps and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying you want to get some racing rigs set up at your place, perhaps some even VR.
I think Evan has something going for it, but I would like to have something to set up for sure. That'd be fun.
That'd be good, wouldn't
He's
it?
actually not kidding. Like, he would love that, so, yeah.
One thing I think would be good would be customer training days, like where you get chances to perhaps some customers to come around and look at your shop and see what's involved. Because most people have got no idea what's involved from what you do, and, I think that'd be quite an eye-opener.
At the very least, just to create a video as to...
or something,
a Cliff Notes version of the production as to what happens, because I think the perception would be far different than the reality with a lot of people, so...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the guys, everyone's been very patient, and Bob, I mean, the way we've been doing your studio, it's been, it's inch by inch, but I can't wait to see it all come together. And it really is, I mean, like, I think the end of this is going to look amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So we're really excited for our HQ.
It is, yeah, it's good. Rob was asking if you had a chance to play with a 3070 Ti yet.
Well, a little bit. I mean, we've got one right here, so, yeah.
You tested it out,
yeah. It should be a pretty popular solution, I think.
Yeah, and will that go, 150, 165 watts total max?
We'll see what we can do versus what we should do. You know what I mean? Because I want these components
I'm curious how the 3070 Ti and the 3080 is going to actually, fare between the two. I mean, obviously there's a cost delta, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm testing a OS 17 with the 3070 Ti, but I think that's max 130 watts. But no muck switch, but I like it. It seems all right.
Yeah. And earlier I made a comment, Bob, I was mention something, you talk about the liquid PP.
Yeah.
But that was basically, so we were actually considering a solution of what we should include with the liquid cooler. And I was like, what if we actually include a yellow liquid and call it liquid PP? Or if we come out with a red version and call it, I need to see a doctor PP. As a joke.
Well, actually, wouldn't it be good if you had a liquid that changes color depending on the temperature? Wouldn't it?
Yeah, but distilled water really is the way to go for this. It doesn't need to be anything special.
Right,
yeah,
right.
No Gatorade. Something like, yeah.
Yeah, nobody put Mountain Dew in there, please. That would be very bad.
I know, right? No, it looks pretty exciting stuff, yeah. So how's your facility up in Pennsylvania now? It's all settled in? All set up?
It still has a ways to go, but, I mean, I convinced Bob to, let us do some other things where we might actually have something like a little movie set up inside the studio there, which would be really cool for, like, surround sound and just, I don't know, really just kind of just having some, I really want to make this whole place fun, and I think we're going to get there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, Bob showed me a photograph or video of the room where you're going to have a studio. I think it's going to be nice.
It's pretty cool, man. This is a huge upgrade for me.
It is, isn't it? It is. So have you played around with many competitor machines yet from the new generation?
No, not really. And I was actually really wondering what systems are going to be out there that's going to be even close to 175 watts that can thermally handle that properly. Mm-hmm. The only thing I could think of would be something like the Raider. I don't know if that's going to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if you put a sustained load to the CPU and the GPU, I would really like to see if that could actually handle, how it will do. Because with that liquid propulsion package, that's the first time that I really felt like an i9 made sense. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to do the HK series, but I feel like, at least for now, we're not going to do it. I just can't see any price justification to do that. But I don't know. I guess we'll see where time goes with this.
What's the price premium from a 12900 HK to the H?
The 12900H to 12900HK is about an extra $260 for us right now.
So that makes no sense, really, does it?
Exactly.
I honestly don't see where that fits in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 3080 to the 3070 Ti is what's that like 600? Is it something like that?
3080 to 3080 Ti is going to depend on what type of options we have in between there. Because originally we were considering 12700H with the 3080 and then 12900H with the 3080 Ti. But right now, I'm trying to see if we can change them all to 12900H for the production order. But we'll see how. I mean, supply seems like it's going pretty well so far, except for, like Bob mentioned, DDR5 that's the nightmare of what's going to make our pricing and questionable of how we can even get any of it. But
it's a good point, isn't it? I mean, that OS I've got is DDR4. So do you see you're going to be using DDR4 perhaps initially until supplies become more,
No, it's definitely all going to be DDR5. It's kind of full steam ahead with DDR5 at this point. But the question still is, I mean, like, I think it will be interesting to see because there's going to be huge deltas in performance between, there's their DDR5. I did see, I think it was the Oris that actually has, I think maybe they're under 2500 for a 3070 Ti with the 12700H that was using DDR4. Is that, you said you have that system?
Yeah, I've got that system now. Yeah, I have been running it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, but I mean, will there be much benefit in gaming for between DDR4 and DDR5? Do you think?
I think it will definitely have maybe not so much in game. It should have, I mean, an incremental, but it's not going to be night and day. At least that's how I feel. But Bob, we were talking about the dual channel versus quad channel, and that's still something that you were talking about with the single DIMM versus the dual DIMMs on these. We've always done dual DIMM typically, but
yeah, and I'll actually have answers to that probably next week.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
I think the DDR5 is going to be huge, but usually when I would test games, it would be very CPU intensive stuff, and graphics performance has so outweighed what the CPUs can do on a core level, not so much a core count level. So I'm really looking forward to, well, you guys have seen it firsthand. Faster memory has helped. Dual channel has helped. The muck switch of all things has finally helped. The muck switch has been around for a long time, but it's finally taking all these little components to help the CPU out so it can feed these graphics cards. Even NVIDIA's own slides, they went from 1080p to 4K in order to show the difference. And trust me on this, if the CPUs were way faster, they would stick to 1080p because the numbers look far more impressive there. But they have to do this, so we have to go DDR5. We have to do all the things. If people are going to spend money on a 70 Ti or an 80 series, we have to make sure we give them the best components to back that thing up to get the performance that they're paying for. Bottom line, I mean, that's...
Yeah, for sure. And then how about AMD systems? Will you be getting those in, say, April time, something like that? Or what's your plan?
We will have the 6000 gen. It's 100% we're going to Intel first, and then the AMD solution will come a little bit later. But honestly, I'm going to be interested to see because I mean, there's been a whole fan crowd that's been built for AMD at this point, but it actually seems like Intel is coming with a heavy punch for this round. So I will be curious to see how, if people are going to stick with AMD or if they're going to move to Intel again. And I mean, obviously you'll have the Thunderbolt 4 inside the Intel systems and then USB 4 for the AMD. So you also finally have a decent solution for AMD, but it's up in the air. I'd like to see how it goes.
Now, can you use USB 4 for like external graphics amplifiers? Can you?
I don't know if you could actually use it. I would assume you can. I'm not sure.
If you get like an adapter, I don't know. That'd be worth a try. I've got the razor cord behind me.
It's always been a unique solution, but I don't know if it's a popular one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the point of it really. And the Alienware amp worked well. I didn't lose any performance there, and I've got that too. But even they've taken that away from their laptops.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
So it's now a brick. Great.
The other thing I think is going to be really interesting to see is, if there's going to be a 3080 Ti, let's just say that's pumping 105 watts versus a 3080 Ti that's 175 watts, how big of a delta is that going to be in performance? Like, I wonder what that's really going to relate to.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll soon find out, I guess.
Yeah,
without a doubt. So, let's see if we've got any other questions here. Yeah, Andrew Mowers has just bought the GP66 with the 3070. Yeah, $2,400. That was from Best Buy. That's pretty good. Best Buy have been quite aggressive, haven't they, on some of their stuff. Now, were you good at one point Will on about trying to sell through Best Buy, but I think they were trying to take too big a cut, weren't they? So
we are still in discussion. It's not out of the question, but it's still a possibility.
What are they like to work with?
Sorry?
What are they like to work with? Are they quite demanding?
We actually have. I mean, so yeah, there's a lot of requirements, back end requirements to work with different vendors, and a lot of times it's just if you work with a distributor. And we've always been direct to consumer, so it's kind of put us in a difficult. We don't work with the typical distributors that are out there where they can just go to them and then have them fulfill it, and they already are set up in those channels. So I'm still trying to prove that we've already done things, something called like Seller Fulfilled Prime, where we are actually the fulfillment channel, and we can get the customers our products within 2 business days, but it's our company that's shipping it directly, and that's kind of where we're trying to
I like that.
Get that to
yeah, exactly. So they're just the front end. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, okay, very good.
Kind of cool, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's see. Any other questions from anybody? Peacekeeper wants a 17-inch liquid cooled. Yeah, so if you're just joining the stream, Bob was showing again. I know I've showed it to a few people, but the liquid cooling old radiator.
Yeah, this is the first gen. This is way too big. It will not look anything like this, but I had to bring it in because it's obnoxious.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course, is this the final thing here, Bob? Was it?
Yeah, I don't think that really is.
I think that's going to change anymore with
maybe the
connectors.
components inside are a little bit different, but the actual cooling solution here, this is exactly what it'll look like. So.
Yeah, and did you say these are going to be launching in April time? You said, I think.
What do you think, Will? Is that probably about right?
I'm hoping for end of March, but because of what happened last year, where we took pre-orders and we ended up getting delayed on some aspects, I really don't want that to happen again. So I'd rather try and find a way to have it be, the estimated ship date, and then we're shipping sooner than what it actually turns out to be.
Okay. Yeah. So what is the chip shortage like? Is it getting better? You see?
I think we might have another year ahead of us of chip shortage in some regard, regardless. Yeah. I think that it's going to be. I mean, the DDR5. I don't know if you've noticed on the desktop category, people are actually consuming those DDR5 chips and then just turning around and reselling them, trying to make more out of it because of supply issues. So I really hope that doesn't happen to the laptop category. But even for our PCIe SSD, the one that I'm really trying to do is it's called the PM9A1. And that drive is basically the OEM equivalent of a 980 Pro, and it does around 7,000 meg reads. I don't remember what the writes were, but they were good. It's not like a typical PCIe Gen 4, which might have like a really low, like a decent read, but then the write speed's like 1,600 megs. It's nothing like that, and that's why I really want to have a good drive for even our standards. So because that's just Samsung really does build good stuff.
Yeah.
But.
Will the cooler have a dial showing you the temperatures, perhaps? Like a digital readout?
Oh, the cooler itself, no, but the control center, I don't think the control center software will support the liquid's actual physical temperature.
No, all right. And can you put different coloured coolants in? Someone was asking.
I don't see why not.
Probably good
if you want to spend money on it, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely put different coolant in, but you're not going to see it. It's not going to visibly show anything of the colors or anything like that once it's inside
the window on this one is substantial, but the final product has just like a little slit in the front, if I recall correctly.
Oh, it's just a little slit, so you don't see as much water. Yeah, that's pretty sweet, like.
Yeah, that one you can see it, but the one that was just a very, very early sample. Though that real production sample is not, or the real production version is not going to be like that. And what was shown on even Dave 2D's video was not the final production. It will look like that, but in terms of what it that would be phase B. What was received? So there's phase A, phase B. Then there's a medium sample between there, and then it comes to production phase. And so we're not even close to we're getting close to production phase, but right now it's Chinese New Year, so everything shut down for the moment, but it's coming.
Yeah, great. Yeah, thank you, Andre. We could try our best here. Of course, me and Bob at lunchtime were talking about the battles of YouTube and how hard it is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to give it till April before I decide whether I quit or not. So that's that. So is there anything else you wanted?
I will.
Yeah.
No, I will let you guys go. Bob, feel free to talk about the mech and a couple of different things that will have. And I think the exciting part is, the display is something new that's coming. But I'll leave that to you guys. And
awesome.
It's good talking with you.
Great. Thanks for stopping by, Will. Appreciate it.
Talk to you later, buddy.
See you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
That's great. I'm glad he joined in.
he's a cool dude.
I know, right?
Yeah.
You know, we all like have a boss like Will.
Well, I mean, what's interesting is that I love my job, obviously, and I like being around all these components, and that's what people see. But like the camaraderie in like just the overall work environment, I couldn't write something better. Yeah. It's really awesome, and I don't know, just a lot of good people.
Well, they say it. You've got to enjoy where you're going. Look forward to going to work.
I can't believe it's been 6 months already.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? A big move from Cincinnati over here.
That's right.
New house, doing insulation and everything else.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I worked on the house for 3 hours before I got in the shower and came here.
Hey, it is, Sergi. So yeah, you're going to talk about any other laptops?
I can't, but there's potentially some neat things coming along. For those that are like really into the hardcore gaming solutions, though, what I have talked about here today is definitely the ones you'll
main things,
yeah, for sure. And then the displays, of course, we're gonna still continue with Quad HD or better. The Mech 17 is actually going to be a 16x10. Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like 16 by 10.
Yeah. And then we're just going to take the refresh rate from what we've been using at 165 hertz and bump it up to 240. So
that's nice. Then.
Yeah. So definitely just those incremental upgrades. I think the Mech 17 at 16 by 10 with all the bells and whistles though is I got it. Yeah.
I'll get some tissues out.
Yeah.
All right.
and it's going to be. It's going to be pretty special, so...
Yeah. Nice. And can you say anything about the new Intel GPU?
No, we really don't know a ton about it at this point. At least I don't. We'll see. I think it's going to be cool. I know it's really easy to just bash Intel to death, and let's be honest, some of it's kind of well-deserved, I guess, in certain regards, but it's still a very... reliable solution as somebody who edits. I do like the product that they have. It's very reliable for me, and I would be interested to see what their GPU is like because I use QuickSync for my hardware acceleration, and if I can get something 4 times faster than that, I can do like a 4K 60 video that's 10 minutes long and just burn through it in like 5 minutes for a render. That's really nice. I mean, you know how it is, and then you go back and you watch it, and you're like, oh, man, I screwed up. I really need to, this is what I need to fix. But now, if you're doing something like that, that puts you behind an hour or two. So having those kind of hardware solutions to mingle with the software that we use just speeds up our workflow tremendously, and that's something that it's not that AMD can't produce it, it's just the software is so seasoned for that kind of hardware.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if anything, it might help bring prices down, one would think. We all want a bit more competition.
That sounds awesome.
We all need that, don't we?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Any last-gen BIOS updates in the future? I just got the Mech 5900 HX on Black Friday. Yeah, so BIOS updates.
I mean, other than just various security things here and there, nothing that would unlock anything special. That's kind of the big problem with Ryzen in general is there's really not a whole lot of bells and whistles you can unlock for it. I mean, Intel's had, undervolting and XMP and all these various things we're on 12th gen now. So 12 generations of this. With Ryzen, we're on the second one that's worth a darn. So it's give it time. I think what AMD does a really good job of doing with their voltages out of the gate, and a lot of people have asked for the ability to undervolt, but if anyone's had any experience with like desktop variants, there's really not a lot of wiggle room. They're pretty tight to begin with, which is good, especially in mobile. So I think having something that's fire and forget, it's great out of the box, is probably better than having something that, you can tweak it, but it doesn't do anything, and now people are bricking their systems and calling blue screens of deaths and calling in, and so. Yeah,
I'm of the mind if it ain't broke.
Yeah.
Don't try it, because invariably something else happens. What do you think of Windows 11?
I don't like it.
I think it sucks.
Yeah.
It's already wrecked my... annoying thing on my Legion 7 is I can't in Windows Explorer, I right click and it crashes.
Yeah.
And I've tried every fix. So I can't copy and paste stuff without doing Control V and Control C.
Okay, so like for our mag, like our new mag, there's no multiplexer switch. The BIOS and everything updates from the Windows Store. It is a very fire and forget solution. It's probably one of the easiest gaming laptops I've used, especially from Electronics, who is known for wattage control, multiplexer switches, different types of modes. Because of the simplicity of the mag, I can run Windows 11 on it, and it does pretty good. But when it comes to our other machines that require just all this fine tuning that you can do to them, and it's awesome as an enthusiast, I see people have more issues than not when they switch to Windows 11. And we have control centers that are supposed to be compatible with it. For some people it works, some people it doesn't. It's just, we need 6 more months on Windows 11 before I think it's going to be ready, in my opinion. And I have good relationships with other companies. Let's use HP, for example, and I talk to many of people in their support. I know them by first name, and I casually ask them, how are you guys doing on Windows 11? They're like, yeah, it has issues. So
yeah.
The OS will probably be awesome by summertime, but for right now, no. My machines have Windows 10, and I've tried 11.
I don't like
I'm
it.
good.
So the Prometheus, I know the Prometheus 16 that I reviewed, that didn't have a MUX. Any plans that these will have MUX going forward? Or
you mean so that particular model, it really hasn't quite panned out the way that we had wanted it to. And not from so much a sales standpoint, but what we wanted out of that machine and what it ended up being was, I don't know, a little disappointment. Support for it hasn't been all that great. And I think that the stark contrast, like with our systems, we're on like 3rd, 4th, 5th generation of some of our laptops that initially didn't have a MUX switch, and now they do, and there's so much tweakability, and then we bring a new ODM to offer while we have already set very high standards and expectations. It's like hot and cold. It's very, very noticeable like how far behind this thing is as far as features and things like that. Now, it has a physical MUX. We sent it out to many people to try to get it enabled, and it just wouldn't work. And again, the support to get some of these bugs and issues resolved has been very poor. So it's been frustrating for us, which is a shame because the display is nice.
that's a great display.
It's in our shop. I actually have my Adobe suite on that, and I do some quick in-house edits that I have to send for small videos for other places. I use that machine. I like the aspect ratio. I like the brightness.
It's the same panel as a Legion 7, but I thought it looked better. Actually.
It's a really nice looking display, and it has potential as a laptop. But again, our standards are here, and we've been working hard to try to get a couple things buttoned up on it, and we're just not having much luck. And it's not that we're not trying. We push very hard to try to get what we think our customers deserve and what we want for ourselves out of this machine. So whether or not we'll have another one remains to be seen. Who knows?
I think that relates into Lawrence's question about support on your laptops for the MUX. It all depends often on the ODM, I suppose, and when they'll implement it fully.
Support the MUX on all. Well, MUX has to be there on the hardware level. You can't just like do a BIOS update and then it's there. So if it's there on the hardware level, then a proper BIOS update that's configured to make it work correctly would ideally be a solution. But there's actually other manufacturers out there that have similar components and designs as us, and they're equipped with a MUX, and they don't work. So, yeah, it's very interesting. There's more to it than, a BIOS update, and then it'll work. Like, I wish it was that simple, but it's not. If it was, it would have been done before you guys even knew this laptop existed.
Yeah, I thought this question would come up from Sergi about will you be expanding selling laptops to other countries? You'll need distributors over in Sergi's in Russia. Any plans to go to Europe or?
I mean, this is just from my mouth, not the company's. It's very difficult to. I mean, you got to set up service like depots at these places, and the expense of that is astronomical, right? That's kind of a big issue. So can we send you things from here to there? Sure, I guess, but the reason why we'd rather not is because the price delta, like what we make on a finished product, would shock you. I don't want to say it on camera, but sometimes it can be double-digit dollars, right? So by the time, like, you have a service issue and then we have to pay to have that come back, we repair it and send it back out, I mean, now we're in the hole. We would love to sell our products globally, but it just financially doesn't make sense at this point. And it would take a while before we could actually cross that boundary, before we could actually do something like that. It's interesting. So I don't want to say it's easy to start up a company like this. It's most certainly not, but you can do a lot of things within the first 10 years. But then if you want to do those couple extra things, it doesn't take an extra year. It doesn't take an extra 10. It could take an extra 20 or 30, just to build up enough infrastructure to be able to do what you ask. It is flattering, though, when we're asked for stuff like that. It really does make us feel good. I will speak on behalf of the company in that regard, that people want our devices that are not in the U.S. That is wonderful news. It really is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because, you do have competitors. There's similar systems in Europe and so forth. And
all the more reason why it is flattering. Because if absolutely.
I agree. So if anybody wants to dial in, that number, the 856 number at the bottom, to be on, like Will was on the telephone call.
Yeah, don't be shy.
So we'll see if we've got any last few questions. What do you think about the MSI GE? Oh, we've got a call coming in from Washington.
Call from.
This is Nas from Seattle.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Hello, this is Stephen and Bob.
Hey, Stephen. Hey, Bob.
How are you doing?
You can probably guess which company I work for. So, Bob, now that you're in the product making side of things, what do you think? Is it easy or hard when you hear criticism and feedback from the reviewers?
Well, no, it's nothing really changes. I mean, being on YouTube for 6 years, I am judged on my performance for many levels, whether or not I shaved my head that day to everything else. So honestly, no joke, my skin is ultra thick, and I have heard and seen it all, and it does not bother me a bit. In fact, over many years, when people would have conversations with me in the comment section, I would tell them there are layers to this, and I would just kind of leave it at that. But things are not as simple, and I knew that to begin with. So moving into this position, there's really been nothing that has surprised me. Seriously. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, looking forward to the new electronics laptop, guys. Can't wait for that.
Right on, man. Good question. That was fun.
Looking forward to it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, thanks for joining in the stream.
Thanks. Bye.
That's it.
That's pretty slick.
No, I like that. That's why I got all this stupid setup here.
You guys, I got to be honest with you. So I've been watching Steven since before I had a channel, and what I see, what we all see on camera is what we all see on camera. But when I look at this here,
I've got naked women in that room.
It's impressive. Everything that you have, I mean, you're like a mad scientist. I had no idea all this stuff was around here.
Different camera angles.
Yeah. This doesn't even do it justice. All of the shenanigans around here that is required to make that happen, and what all this stuff is, I'm impressed.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take a picture of it before I leave and show Will and be like, yeah, we should probably do something like this.
I like your sound effects. Anyway, that's great.
Cool. Yeah.
See what other questions we got. Do you have a plan to make a thick 17 series with the 12th gen CPU and the 3080, or 3070 Ti?
No, probably not. I mean, those are very, very expensive laptops. We still have some of the 2080 Supers under my desk, and they're not hot sellers. Admittedly, Will, his dream machine is a roided out version of that, but they don't sell. I think it would be really cool, and I am all for what he would love to put together. Would make the thick look like hot garbage in comparison. And I think it would get a ton of traction and a lot of people would like it, but those just didn't really sell. The X170 chassis is really awesome, but it's for a very niche crowd, and I just don't know if that's something we have. Heck, we have 30 series versions of them as well, but I mean, for every one of those that sell, we sell 700 Max 17s, you know?
Wow.
And I just kind of made that number up. I'm sure it's probably relatively accurate.
And I imagine on those laptops, you must make a bigger margin, one would think, yeah?
On which ones?
I say the X170. If you don't sell as many, the margin's still tight on those.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, because the MXM is super expensive.
Yeah.
Like, really expensive. So.
Yeah, it's a nice machine. Yeah, I liked it. Hi guys, what do you both think about the upcoming OS Z13 tablet? Well, I was thinking of buying. I was thinking of buying it. It's on Best Buy for what, $18.99, I think it was.
No kidding.
It's quite a lot of money, but I bought the Alienware 17 X17R2, I think it is, and the Razors. That's $7,000 of laptops I've just bought. So I'm gonna.
You're crazy.
Get rid of those. I haven't told my wife, but she's not watching. So, you know, I mean, I want to. I'm trying to see if I can get a review unit on that because I mean, I always 2-in-1 laptops, so want my favorites, and you know, taking notes all the time. You know, quite like the idea of that. A gaming tablet.
I think Asus is the right company to make niche things like that too. I mean, they have like 800 employees. They've got the overhead. They can do stuff like this and fumble and just kind of sweep it under the rug and be like, oh well, you know. I mean, you know, for us that would be pretty risky, and I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I do check my comment section all the time, and this is the first I've really seen of people like that are kind of interested in that. So I don't know. Maybe it would be cool for a daily driver. I'm not too sure.
Well, I thought the X13 Flow was quite popular.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like to look at the Z13. Yeah.
I like that Asus did, if I recall correctly, they made a second generation of that. Did
They
they?
did. They upgraded it to the from the 1650 to I think the 3050. Didn't
Okay. And then what about that one that I had borrowed from one of the guys on the notebook review forum? That giant like thing that sat up on its side that Asus made. Do you remember that? It was huge.
Was that the mothership?
The mothership, yeah. So like Asus is really good at capturing your attention with some pretty unique things like that, and then maybe just not making it anymore. But I do
Yeah, what happened to that?
Yeah, exactly. But I like that they did make a second-gen Flow, so there's hope, you know? I mean, if they didn't see it as a decent seller, they wouldn't make another one.
Yeah. And I like they've got firmware switch across the board now, so I think that's, you know, they're listening. Like Gigabyte listened to us with dual channel RAM, and the webcam finally, now that's at the top.
After how many generations?
I know, right? But still, the secondary function keys on the keyboard aren't lit up.
Get out of here.
They're still not lit up. How daft's that?
And they got rid of the mechanical.
Yeah, got rid of the mechanical.
Oh.
Crazy, man.
Call from
Henry.
Hey, Henry?
Wow. Okay.
Hey,
Hi.
you're here. Hi.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, Steven. Hey, you guys are great. I just want to start that off. This is my second time calling in.
Thanks.
Both of you are
Appreciate
great. Just seeing both of you guys on my computer right now.
Oh,
is
give us a hug.
seeing-
The hug from him.
Oh,
Fucking muscles,
It's
man.
so crazy. I never thought I'd see you both on the screen, and it's just great to see you both smiling and talking to each other. I knew that you guys always talked to each other and knew each other, but just seeing you guys in the same room,
Ah, thanks, Henry.
it's
Yeah.
just great.
Now he only
It's
lives
just
40
great.
minutes
So
away.
thank you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's very handy.
And
I'm going to get him to do work in my house. He doesn't know that yet. But
No, I want to say, first of all, even before I begin, I want to say, congratulations to Bob. When I saw Bob, level up like that, it was his life. I don't know. I just felt like I won.
Thank you, man.
It was just great to see.
it was huge.
I appreciate that. No, I really do. It was hitting the reset button on my life at my age, but there was no reason why I shouldn't. So I'm very happy. I really do appreciate that comment.
It's true, because sometimes you're in your life like me. I'm from the UK and I moved here in '99. Sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and think, fuck it, I'm going to go and try something new.
Yeah.
And new doors open, and
Yeah.
you not look back.
No. No, we really do love it here. This is cool. So
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's very nice of you, Henry. Yeah. So
No. Just hearing Bob
say like the relationship that he has with Will. It's just like I imagine Will as a cool guy, and I know Bob is cool. Just from even listening to you guys talk, like you guys are just like you can tell. Like certain people are just really cool, and just hearing. I remember Bob uploaded a video. I think it was at like the end of 2020, maybe early 2021, where he was just talking for a full hour about his life updates and what he thinks on certain things. Like no one can talk that long without like revealing a bad part of themselves. Bob is really good. Like I can tell he's a good guy, and I can tell the same thing about you, Steve. Both of you guys have been doing this for a long time. And I have a lot of respect for you, Will, Steve, everybody.
Appreciate that.
Everybody,
yeah, because YouTube is a grind, and I know Bob shares the same view as me. You put many hours in there, and you don't see your family. And of course, he was working in his other job, many hours too. So it was very hard to.
Yeah, nobody knows what my previous occupation.
It's like paused there, did I?
Yeah.
He was holding his breath.
Of 17 years, right? I mean, should we spill the beans?
I don't know. He was a porn star, wasn't he?
Yeah, right.
What did you do?
I was in the health and fitness industry. Yeah.
He kind of looks like one now that you mentioned.
He's a fitness guy, yeah?
Yeah.
But no, I know Bob did some kind of boxing class. I remember he said something about that in one of his videos.
Yeah, a lot of martial arts background, and fitness and life coaching for almost 2 decades. So.
Yeah.
But it was just funny because I actually had more experience with computer hardware. So I was building stuff in the mid 90s with 486, 66 megahertz, messing with jumpers on motherboards. So like I have to have this like passionate geeky side. Otherwise I just go mentally crazy. But I got into the fitness because it was a selfish choice for me because I was very unhealthy. Family history was poor. My father passed away when he was 63 years old. There's a lot of things in our family that, like, if we don't take care of ourselves, we just go down the tube. I really, like, spent a lot of time getting in shape, and I realized I could help a lot of people. So, and it was nice to get out of that and fully invested into this. But between that occupation, Bob of all trades, and then I did the Tested channel because I apparently am a madman. It was 70 hours a week, and it started to become like, it felt like 40 hours a week because you just get used to it. But it was also really hard on the kids and my wife, and it was taking a toll on me. So when this opportunity came up, I literally cried. I was that happy, and we had to take it. So yeah.
Well, there's COVID as well affected your job. Yeah, because
all right, I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you guys are busy, both of you, you and Bob. Right?
Yeah, I enjoy talking to new people.
I like doing this. I prefer doing this than doing my reviews because. I can interact with you more easier in real time, pretty much, and
get to know who we are. Anyway,
exactly. And I don't have to edit.
I'm gonna be honest. Like from a viewership perspective, I feel like I know you guys. I feel like I know you guys already.
Well,
I know that sounds weird, but it's just like I feel like I know you guys. I've been watching you guys for so long. So it's just like
it's a nice compliment.
Well, Henry, if you're ever down New Jersey way, I know you're not far. Just pop in. You can have a look around.
Yeah. Right? Oh, I have some questions though. I do have some questions.
Okay.
Right? This is for both the MAG and the mech. Right? I'm a young student. 23 years old.
Okay.
Right? And I need something portable, and I've always been looking at the mech and the MAG as my main 2 options. Right?
Okay.
Because the thing is, I can't really tell because I don't have it in hand, but I can tell the MAG is more thinner and the mech is a little bit more thicker. But, it's not really that big of a deal. The mech doesn't look that thick to me. Right? What I wanted to talk about was the charger, right? The charger is the charging port for the mech and the MAG, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys plan on implementing USB Type-C charging anytime soon?
That's a great question. So we actually have a large wish list that we kind of put together, and that's definitely on the list. That was like number 2 or 3 for me. And we're currently testing a couple of devices that are not those 2 laptops that seem to offer USB-C charging, but currently all of our current models do not have that. And it is kind of a shame because I was really like, it's such a small charging device, but they're just not ready for that yet for some reason, which is kind of a bummer. So I hang my head low when I say that because, I mean, Will wants to see that too.
Yeah.
But it's
It'll
kind of
happen.
a little easier said than done. And there's also this whole other back end of it where you will get a lot of people that maybe are not as tech savvy, and they'll the kind of, let's say, customer service side and support side with people not understanding how certain things work. And that is not meant to talk bad about them. It's just our laptops are actually kind of complicated to use. And when you add USB-C charging into there, it's just going to add a whole nother layer. Like, I can promise you, and this is not trying to be sound like a cop-out, but when we finally do commit to that, I will guarantee you we will get at least 10 emails a day on average of people saying, why can't my gaming performance sucks on USB-C charger? Why? I want to return the laptop. You see what I mean? Like, there's layers to this, like I say, that it starts introducing more problems. And that's not why we don't have it, but I'm not looking forward to that once we do. So these machines, I think, will eventually get there, but for now they don't. And
You probably get that with every new feature. Like, I'm sure you're going to get it with the water cooling,
But
aren't you? You know.
that is a problem, though. I mean, it would be great if USB-C could support 230 watts, and I think we'll be there very soon.
Yes.
And then that'll be great. So then we don't have to lug around.
Yeah, I don't want to take two power supplies away.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big charger, 230 watts, right? So
Yeah, that's
Right.
portable enough for me. Yeah.
if you're still in the market for either one of those two laptops, is that ultimately what's holding you back? Is the ability to charge via USB-C?
Not entirely, right? Because the thing is, right, it's like one of the, like, a great accessory. It's just a great thing to have on the laptop. But if the laptop overall is great, then I'll just buy it. Without any hesitation. But the thing, there are also a couple things about the mech and the mag that hold me back, right? The brightness on the screen. I know this is not really a big problem. I mean, like, relative to the rest of the competition that you guys may have. I was kind of hoping for a 400 nit screen brightness.
Yep.
On either the mech or the mag. If that is in your plans in the future for any laptop other than the Prometheus.
The mag is a little bit brighter by about 50 nits pretty consistently from what I have been testing. And I have a couple of them at the office that I use, and then mine that I generally use is around 350 nits on the low side. The weird thing about nits, and I've had this conversation a lot, especially with HP, they've been very gracious to share a lot of unique information. Man, like 500 nits is pretty awesome. 400 nits is pretty awesome. 300 nits is going to seem pretty dim when you compare them all side by side, but when you use them all indoors, it's kind of the same. And if you want to use them outdoors, you know what the recommended nit is for that? 750.
Wow, yeah.
And so it's just very interesting on what other manufacturers have
Well, will we get more mini LED displays then? I mean, they're like, what, 1,000
yeah,
nits?
they're very, very expensive, and there's some weird contrasty issues and things like that with them. So, I mean, we're always pushing for the best out there. There was a time when, I don't want to throw any manufacturers under the bus, but, like, there's a lot of screens out there that people really like, and they're like, well, why can't I get that? Well, some of these manufacturers will just buy them all, and you can't even get them. And there's supply chain issues, and there has been for the last 2 years. So you can imagine how difficult it was for us just to get the one that was in the Prometheus 16, So,
Wow.
yeah, like, it's, again, a lot of these things we would like to do, and maybe we just can't because we're not a powerhouse of a manufacturer that can just, buy 500,000 laptops at a time. So
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that. I never even thought of it like that.
Yeah,
So
sounds like
thank you.
Legion
I
bought them all.
appreciate it. That's true. My next question is about the numpad on the mag and the mech, and you can probably see where I'm going with this. On the mag, there's no numpad, but on the mech, there is. The thing about the mech is that the numpad is usually incomplete.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so my question for you is that, well, do you guys plan on removing it anytime soon, or do you plan on, like, completing it, or do you guys? Because the thing is, right, I don't really mind it. It's just that if it's gonna be there. This is my personal opinion, though. I don't think there are probably many people who disagree. They want it to not change, but I mean, for me, I would say that if it's not gonna be complete, then just remove it.
I
right?
think that's the biggest complaint with the mech. And when on my wish list, that was the number one thing to change, was the keyboard on the mech. Either have an enter key, shrink the keys down a little bit to create that space and make it complete, or just get rid of it altogether. And I like a number pad. Maybe that just dates me, but I prefer a number pad, one with an enter key, and that's just not something. I think maybe the Prometheus 16 might have that, but I think that might be the only one that does, and it's definitely a little irritating, to say the least.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, so trust us, it's definitely on our wish list to definitely make that happen for sure. Yeah, just a lot of changes have to go into the C cover, the deck itself, in order to make something like that happen. And it's pricey to get the tooling and stuff, and it's really crazy, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I like a number pad. I do.
Yeah,
Right.
me too when I'm doing the expenses. Yeah, well, thank you, Henry.
Yeah, thank you. Even the questions I have are mostly about cosmetic appearances. The thing is, I don't even have with you guys, it's power is never even, I don't even take it into consideration because I know.
The audio. Oh, we got it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I know that the mech and the mag are going to be very powerful, so I know that it's never going to be an issue. I trust you guys on that department. But with other laptops and other manufacturers, I know that no matter how powerful they say it is, it's usually never going to add up, or it's just they're missing something, and it's always just I have to dig more deeper to find out if what they're advertising is actually what I want. But with you guys, I know I'm getting an honest review. I'm getting something that people actually care about making. Just hearing your passion about these laptops just makes me want to support, and I am going to support.
I would like to
plan on buying electronics.
I would like to add one thing in there, Henry, and I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's like when I ring, say, Dell or Lenovo or whatever, they ask, for advice on some of the laptops. Half of them got no idea. At least if you ring electronics, your sales guys know the laptops.
Oh, yeah.
They're putting it together, they're testing it. Yep. So I think that's key. I mean, there's many a time I've asked the salesperson on the chat on Dell, and they tell me totally wrong information.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's nice about having a smaller team, honestly, the cohesiveness. And I actually want to mention this, and I hope this spreads more than anything I've said today. So when I met the team in April, and I said, yeah, I'll take the job, and then there was a whole ton of things that had to happen before I could actually move here. He said, how is this going to impact when you review laptops? I said, I'm going to do the same thing that I always have. Because if I false advertise, for one, that's going to hurt the integrity of not only me, but the company, and it's going to make more work for me because now I have to deal with the returns and everything else. And he smiled. I remember exactly where we were standing, and he just kind of smiled with like this moment of good, because he knows that if I tell the truth, then we can also get our ODMs and other various things to help make a better product for us than to sell to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's going to be very interesting, because I don't know if there's a lot of YouTube channels out there.
You've got to be honest.
That work at a specific place that will then review that specific product on their behalf without there being some kind of weirdness or bias there. And I'm completely ready for everybody to say what they want to say. That's fine. But I'm just going to offer the same truth that I always have. And if you like the product, great. And if you don't, then give me some feedback. I
mean, the only ones I review, typically Gigabyte normally wants to see a proof beforehand. And they've said, oh, you don't say that. And I say, well, I mean, it was shit. And I've got to, I could turn it down a little bit, but generally the theme's still got to be there. That wasn't very good.
Yeah, I always felt like they didn't quite cater to the North American market the way
they should.
Yeah. So.
But HID Evolution, they didn't care. I mean, they did care, but I mean, they wanted the truth. Lenovo, they don't ask for anything, and obviously just truthful across the board. I mean, I think that's what we've got to be as reviewers. And
I mean, when I reviewed the Matrix RP15 with the small battery, that was the video that fueled putting the larger battery in there. And our ODM fought that hard, and that was the video that helped, you know, or just various little things like that. The 5800H ran super hot in the Mech G3. Next thing you know, Will and his team was putting liquid metal on these things.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the truth hurts, but you can also use it as fuel to solve a problem. And that's kind of what electronics has always done. So we'll just continue telling the truth, for better or for worse. And fortunately, like, the next stuff that I review is so awesome that, like, I mean, if anything with that obnoxious water cooler is going to make everything run so cool and quiet, it's going to be hard to not like it, you know?
I know, right? I can't wait to test that one out.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you one more time.
Thank you, Henry.
You guys. You guys are amazing.
Cheers.
Amazing.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks for stopping by.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you for having me.
See you.
Bye-bye.
That was cool. Great.
This is so nice to see all these questions. I
There's
miss
some
doing
good
this,
questions.
man.
Yeah, there's any on here you can see on the screen. Please tell us more about the RP lineup.
The RP lineup. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably go with a Ryzen RP solution again. Ryzen Mobile, they're not ready yet. Intel has their stuff now. Ryzen Mobile's just not ready yet. So, I would very much like to do that again, and I'm very, very certain we will.
I think you will.
Yeah, it was a great.
I don't think they're going to be that bad. I mean, I think battery life's going to be great.
Because it's Ryzen.
Yeah, it's Ryzen,
Yeah.
and I saw a slide 5600H versus the 12500H, and it wasn't that far away in Geekbench. I think, you know, for most people, I think it's going to be fine. I mean, for me, do I need a really fast CPU? My video editing is accelerated with the GPU.
Yeah.
You go quick sync, so not everybody needs it, you know. And I think for general gaming, it's going to be fine. My concern was, you know, issues we had with RAM speed last time. Had to make sure it was single rank by 8 or that type of deal, wasn't it? Rather than single rank by 16.
Yeah, so that cat didn't come out of the bag until after all of the memory and all that stuff was kind of just like set aside for that particular build. And then once people started putting the high-end X8 stuff, which is all... I mean, I could count on probably two hands how many X16 stuff that we have, and I've gone through all of our memory inventory and have set that stuff aside because we can't get that in the mix. But that's what's cool about electronics is they discovered that before even I did and had made the proper channels, pun intended, to get the right stuff in there. And that's the way it's been. I mean, this is
made a huge difference.
Yeah, DDR5 right there.
I can switch it overhead here. Look,
this is, you know, just two-sided DIMMs. I mean, it's all good stuff. If you want to help me get that out, because my fingers are not working out too well. Yeah.
How about the
sitting there teeter-tottering on this thing. But yeah, I mean, all the memory that we use is really good stuff. Here, let me grab it with two hands.
Yeah, it's definitely
Your
good.
microphone is really good. It's crazy.
I just make picks that up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But yeah, I mean, it's all good stuff. And you could put memory like that into the RP. The RP sold so well. When I started working there in August, I mean, they were out of stock.
Yeah, DDR4.
And it just never came back. But this is the DDR5 right here.
That's a DDR5.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is single-sided, but apparently, and I have to test this, it's supposed to be with one DIMM. I got to test this, but dual channel with one DIMM or quad channel with two. So we're going to have to test that out next week to see. But DDR5's got a couple tricks up its sleeve. I'm going to
put this in my wallet.
in exploiting that. It's worth more than my car.
You can't get that these days, eh? Oh, Jesus. All right, so we'll...
So we didn't have any more RP15s to sell because with the chip shortage and everything else, in order for us to get more, the price jumped up. So it just wasn't worth us to sell them anymore. So we didn't place another order and produce more units. It's kind of a sad truth.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, that chip shortage initially really, really hurt. So Will had invested in some of the higher end stuff that we could get at the time and stockpiled it, and then we were set. In fact, our holiday season last year was by far the best the company's ever had.
You mentioned that.
I had nothing to do with that. I'm just saying that was he's a smart guy.
There was a big demand, wasn't there, for sure?
Yeah.
If I order from HID Evolution, is there options to add liquid cooling? No, not I know of. Just the liquid metal. Yeah. I mean, do you think this type of liquid cooling thing will just be bespoke to people like you and XMG and there's few other people, I guess, or is it?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if it's going to go beyond those two. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope it just keeps it with you guys. I mean,
it's fun and it's not really that expensive especially if you guys have seen the version that I've seen and knowing that there's still the final one to come, it's actually a pretty good value, especially if you buy it with the laptop. It's actually pretty cheap.
I think so, yeah. 5900HX versus 1100H.
1100H. And the only thing Ryzen has at that point is battery life.
Yeah, I agree.
Will either one of us notice in gaming? No. But
will there be a Ryzen 6000H version of the Mech and Mac series?
Not too sure. I would like to know that for myself. It's like that chip's not coming out for a while. And how much it's going to cost us will really kind of decipher what really makes sense, because it has to make... Look, guys, there's times when Ryzen actually did cost more than Intel, but you guys didn't see that, right? But I mean, it's now that AMD's got a little something, they charge a lot for it. They're not.
Yeah, they're not daft. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my question is, if these come out April, when will the 7000 series come out? Will they push for CES? So this is my main gripe half the time, particularly with Intel. I mean, you had the 10th gen, 11th gen was just there briefly. Now 12th, people you buy and then it's outdated.
Yeah.
You're talking like 3 months. I mean, Andrew Morris bought a Razer Blade new one, the 3080, back in December, and it was outdated come February. It was reduced $400 within 2 months.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I don't think that's fair on a consumer. That type of thing. Anyway, is the new Mech 17 using a different chassis due to the 16:10 screen?
It'll have to a little bit. Yeah, as far as I know, it seems like it's pretty revamped actually. So we look forward to seeing that. It's supposed to have a little bit better thermals than the Prometheus 17. So even though a lot of the componentry and everything's going to be pretty similar as far as the guts of it go, I can't speak on behalf of the batteries. I'm not too sure how that's going to pan out size-wise, but yeah. I don't know if they're going to go with a thicker like Z-axis or anything like that and create more airflow, but they are supposed to do something to improve airflow. So, yeah.
Nice. And have you ever gone to visit the ODMs yourself?
No, but we were just talking about this a couple of weeks ago. So
that'd be a great trip.
The COO and I would very much like to do that. That would be cool.
That would be cool, yeah. Oh my God, I'd be jealous. God, I can come and carry your bags.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. We say 16:10 screen and the Mech 17. Yes.
Is there any plans to sell your products in the Middle East market? Yeah, we answered that question. You need distributors in various areas.
We'd have to grow 10 times larger like that to make that happen.
To make it worthwhile.
I'm not saying it's never going to happen. I mean, that's really should be kind of one of the end games, is to be that much of a powerhouse.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the cost of shipping a laptop from the United States to overseas is like crazy. Isn't it?
Especially compared to 2 years ago.
Yeah, so. All right, well, I think I've got one last question here, and then I think we can call it a day. How is repairability of electronics? Are chips easily available? Can we get schematics? In other words,
I remember the days where you would buy a fridge or something or a washer, and you would get like this detailed schematic of it.
Yeah, right.
Like that. So, yeah, I mean, repairability is probably I was originally going to say no better or worse than it's ever been, but that actually would be not true, and I'll show you why. So, if you're going to go with the liquid cooling solution, the Intel versions are going to have liquid metal on them from the factory, and tamper evident sticker. Guys, don't take these apart. Like, the likelihood of you bricking something is so high. In the way this is mounted and all this, it's a mess. Now they're putting things in here that should, thermal interface material that is designed to last, but taking these apart is going to be a little bit more work, and you definitely risk. And we're not going to sell this chassis without this. You don't have to use the liquid propulsion package. But
my question is this soldered to the other heat pipe?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
That's how it is. So the good, heat transfer from there to there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, that'll be interesting looking forward. I know the question could have been kind of generic, but I have to break it down into some details here. And I think these LPP units for serviceability, our techs are going to have some fun with that. That'll be interesting.
Wasn't there some company supposed to be doing modular laptops?
Oh gosh, guys, who did that?
I remember seeing it.
Framework.
You just slot things in.
Framework, yeah, super cool. If I was that would be a good one for you to review. That I was very interested in checking that one out. But.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, but to answer your question, I don't think Electronics wants anybody taking any of their laptops apart because it's certainly they don't want it in a bag.
I will say this though, the audio boards and a lot of things have been separated and are connected with ribbon cables. So, we would stock some of these and things like that, in case there's an issue. We generally wouldn't be able to sell this part outright, maybe post-warranty, but a lot of times it's better off that we do it, just do electrostatic and warranty and things like that. So I don't know. I look at this from my point of view and I'm like, oh yeah, I could probably take this apart with my eyes closed, but how many teardown videos have I made over the last 6 years? And it's once a week somebody's like, oh, I took apart my XPS 15 and now it won't power back on. So it's hard to say.
Well, at least you don't have an inverted motherboard. I remember that Triton 500 I had, and
no,
that was always a bitch.
No, we wouldn't allow that. There's no way.
Nightmare. Great. Well, I'd like to thank. I think we'll call it a day now. I think.
Yeah, that's fine.
But we can always do another one at another date.
Yeah, it lives so close, man. That'd be great.
Yeah, do a follow up. Perhaps once I've reviewed the new liquid cooler when it comes in, that'd be great to try that, and then we'll do a follow up, and then also again perhaps when Ryzen's here. So I'd like to.
That'll be fun.
To thank Bob for his time.
You guys have no idea. This is crazy in here. Just seeing this whole entire setup, it's bonkers.
All right. So, Thanks again for everybody. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.